If you're like me, you grew up playing amazing video games like StarCraft, Warcraft, and Diablo. These games were unlike any other game. They were captivating with their incredible stories and immersive worlds and incredibly well-designed characters and spells and abilities. It was fantastic. Not to mention, the voice actors did an outstanding job to bring you into that world and feel that emotion their characters felt. These are the games that old Blizzard made. In 2008, Activision merged with Blizzard Entertainment to create Activision Blizzard. This was the beginning of the end of old Blizzard, the company that refused to release games until they were ready and where quality came before anything else. Activision Blizzard's philosophy proved to be different. They refused to pay fair wages, and profit came before anything else. Every Activision Blizzard game released after 2008 just wasn't the same. Slowly, the old guard of Blizzard left the company, and the quality of Activision Blizzard's games worsened over time. You can even see Diablo Immortal, the most recent release, has been doing not so well. Today, I can hardly contain my excitement. Old Blizzard, the men and women who created our favorite games of all time, have reunited once again to bring us the next Blizzard game. It has been over a decade since we have felt the quality, the chills, and excitement of a true Blizzard game. But in the next few years, we will once again be reminded what it means to play a true Blizzard game. But we can't call it Blizzard anymore because old Blizzard has created a new company, and that company is called Frost Giant Studios. The CEO of Frost Giant Studios is Tim Morton, the former production director of StarCraft 2, joined by Tim Campbell, the former game director of Warcraft 3: The Frozen Throne. This company also enlists many former Blizzard employees such as writers, engineers, architects, designers, and more. It is truly exciting to see this group of people come together to make another game. And the name of the game that they're making is Stormgate. One thing that gives me confidence in this company is that it is not going to stray too far from what made Blizzard games great. They will continue to use tried and true fundamentals while also aiming to revolutionize the gaming space. The story of Stormgate is even somewhat similar to Warcraft. There are demonic invaders coming through a dark portal. The invaders in Stormgate are called the Infernal Host, and the dark portal is called the Stormgate. The genre of the game is going to be real-time strategy, which was old Blizzard's bread and butter. And for most of my audience, you're probably all MMO players. World of Warcraft is the main game I make videos about, but World of Warcraft was built from Warcraft 3. And I'm sure anyone who played Warcraft 3 recognizes many of the art assets that were used in Warcraft 3 appearing in World of Warcraft. But the point is that Warcraft was an RTS way before it was ever an MMO. And many of you probably played that before World of Warcraft. As of the release of this video, we know that Stormgate has announced two playable races, which are the Human Resistance and the Infernal Host. The game takes place hundreds of years in the future in a post-apocalyptic Earth where the Human Resistance is battling the Infernal Host, which conquers worlds. We know that there will be 2+ races when Stormgate releases, which is super exciting. Warcraft 3 had 4 playable races and even some extra races within the campaign missions like the Naga or the Draenei. StarCraft also had 3 races, the Zerg, Protoss, and Terran, and was considered one of the most balanced RTS games in existence. And not to mention, both of these games, if you're not familiar, are the most acclaimed and best-selling games of all time. What's great is that the people that worked on those games are now working on Stormgate, so you can see this game is set up for success. If you remember back to Warcraft and StarCraft, you might remember there was also a map editor application outside the main client. This editor was super powerful because for Warcraft 3, this was the same editor that campaign designers used to create the campaign in Warcraft 3, and it was then just given to anyone who bought the game to use. from that same editor, we saw entire genres born, like MOBAs, multiplayer online battle arenas, better known as Dota or League of Legends. This all started in Warcraft 3 as a custom game made by just a user using the map editor. I remember Dota was the game you could never even download in Warcraft 3 because downloading it in a lobby basically meant instant boot. You had to go online to some website, download it first, and it was that kind of culture because Dota was so popular. And again, from that we saw League of Legends was born, Dota 2, Heroes of New Earth, all starting from the Warcraft 3 map editor. It's really quite legendary. Now, what's cool about Stormgate is that they plan to also create a very powerful editor. If you remember, the StarCraft 2 editor was not as friendly as the Warcraft 3 editor, and so Frost Giant Studios' goal is to create a map editor that is both easy to use and very powerful. And on top of that, they want to include it within the game client without the need to find a separate application in your game folder. So some people may have missed it who might have been super creative. So this is actually how Warlords Battlecry had it in their game client. If you've ever played that awesome game, there was a little button you could press that would open up a map editor. Now, more about Stormgate. It's going to be free to play, which is super new for the RTS genre. It will not have any NFTs. There won't be any pay to win components whatsoever. I mean, this is great news because, we've reached a tipping point, I feel like, a point of saturation with Activision Blizzard where almost everything is pay to win. Almost everything is hyper monetized. I mean, look at Diablo Immortal. So this is super great news that Stormgate will have no monetization. Honestly, because the people who are making this game, I'm not really surprised. I didn't expect there to be any junk in their game. Like, this is going to be a very clean game. I think it's going to be very refreshing considering some of the latest games that have come out recently. The game's going to be just like its predecessors. It's going to involve harvesting resources, building bases, training units, and commanding your troops in battles. One thing I've always really enjoyed about RTS was the depth. It was a simple, fun game on the surface, and for many people, that's enough. But I remember to this day when I was losing all the time as a Zerg player against Protoss, and I looked up online, I typed in the words like Zerg versus Protoss strategy, and I discovered this massive community online. I found forums, I found YouTube videos, and I really just went down the rabbit hole, and I saw that StarCraft was a game with immeasurable amounts of depth. I learned that if a Zealot had +1 weapon attack, it was able to slay a Zergling in 2 hits instead of 3, which really effectively increases the Zealot's combat efficiency against Zerglings by a whopping 33%. And it doesn't say this anywhere in the game. You have to use math, and based on the in-game tool tips and the upgrade, I mean, I was hooked. I was like, wow, I need to get +1 armor on my Zerglings or they're toast. It was so cool. I mean, what an amazing game StarCraft is, right? Now, I completely expect Stormgate to be a game that, on the surface, it'll draw you in. It'll have a great story, a fantastic campaign, beautiful units. It'll fascinate you with that epic storytelling and beautiful game design on the Unreal Engine. But then it will have endless layers of depth for those who want to learn the, minute intricacies of the game. And of course, like any old Blizzard game, there's no release date, but you will be confident that it will be a long time before it comes out, because when it does come out, it's going to be a game that will be timeless. That much I can say with confidence. It's really one of the only games I'm looking forward to playing besides Wrath of the Lich King Classic. I mean, I'm so excited to hear any news at all coming out from Frost Giant Studios, and I will do my best to relay any information that I come across to you. So make sure to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. My name's Toy House, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.